Welcome to episode 6 of Beyond the Plate with Chef Amrita Raichand and me, Hrishi K. Week after week, we give you a 360-degree perspective on food. What is nutritious food, healthy food, delicious food, and most importantly, the recipe of the day and the Ask Amrita section. And I have to say this, I'm learning more and more about food, and I'm trying to implement the right things in my life. It's hard, it's tough, but when I have inspiration like Amrita at hand, things will get easier. Hey, how are you? All good?
Very well, thank you, Rishi. And you forgot very important thing. Healthy is not boring.
It's not boring.
That's
True.
what we are here to bust, that myth.
Now the monsoons are here. A couple of things I want to say about the monsoons. All radio presenters who say, I'm feeling so bad that you're stuck in the rain in the monsoons and you're on the road for hours, and they express a lot of sympathy towards their listeners. They're all liars. We're very happy if people are stuck for hours in the rain because it's a captive audience enjoying the radio and listening to Beyond the Plate.
Absolutely. That's a great advantage. And there are a lot of other advantages of monsoons, like romancing in the rain and, enjoying the cool breeze. But unfortunately, Rishi, what the rains also bring along with it is a host of diseases. Seasonal flu, stomach infections are the milder ones. There are also some severe ones, which let's not talk about it early in the morning and spoil people's mood. I want you to enjoy the rains. I want you to enjoy the season by making you strong enough to combat the problems, the issues that it brings along with, right? It's better to focus on the solution than the problem. What do you think, Rishi?
Absolutely. What she basically means is there are stomach infections, there are waterborne diseases, and I think the way to approach it would be, let's pay more attention to our body in the monsoons and build our immune system.
Absolutely, you got it right. You are a good learner indeed, Rishi. We have to build our immunity, and there are various ways of doing that. Of course, food is one of the most important factors that plays a really, really huge role in building your immunity. And we have discussed this in one of our Beyond the Plate episodes, eating a healthy plate, where the proportion of food is correct, and if you eat that, you get all your macro and micronutrients, which keeps you strong. Now, India luckily is also blessed with lots of spices and lots of herbs, and our Indian cuisine is, almost full of it. We need to be generous with spices like turmeric, garlic, ginger, all herbs. These are all antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, so they have a huge, advantage in our body. We also should focus on eating seasonal fruits. We have lovely fruits now, plums, cherries, peaches, the gourd family in vegetables. Again, very, very good for building our immunity. Your karelas, your lokis, all of this fall into this category. So it's really, really important to eat a lot of good variety of fruits and vegetables along with whole grains, and keep your eating plate healthy and keep yourself strong.
So one thing I keep hearing people, experts say is build up on vitamin C, antioxidants, fiber-rich foods. Also, off late, antibacterial stuff, anti-inflammatory stuff. And how gut flora has become a bit of an obsession with people. So I'd like you to talk about digestion and gut flora.
So, like I said, all these spices that I was talking about, all of them have anti-inflammatory, qualities. Gut is, in fact, the whole problem and solution is in the gut. And in fact, we must do one full episode on Beyond the Plate on just gut health, because there is a lot that we can discuss in it. But primarily, if you have to touch the broad picture, good amount of fiber is really important to kind of keep the gut clean and to keep the microbiome, strong and happy. Probiotics are very important. Vitamin C foods are very important, which really helps us build immunity. So all of this in the correct proportion. I keep specifying the fact that in the correct proportion is really important to keep you strong, to keep your body and your gut strong, so you can fight infections and the seasonal flu that this monsoon brings along with it.
Well, before we go on, because you need a couple of supplements, and I don't mean food supplements, supplementary activities to your diet being well balanced. I'd like to say that the Ask Amrita section comes on at the end of the show. You have any questions for Amrita on food habits, on nutrition, what you should be eating, shouldn't be eating, waterborne diseases in the monsoon, or how you want to protect yourself during this rainy season. 9833 943 943. 9833 943 943 is the WhatsApp line. You ask the question on WhatsApp. You can text it to us along with your name, and I will bring it up on the show. And Amrita answers each and every question with great sensitivity and supplements it with facts. So the next one, which is about exercise. I see you sometimes furiously exercising.
Yes, I do furiously exercise, and I always want to explain to people that yes, food is a very, very important part of healthy living, but there is no use of eating good food if you do not supplement it with exercise. It is equally important for your metabolism. It is equally important to build your immunity. And when I say exercise, I mean fair amount of exercise that your body needs. Over-exercising is also a problem.
Would dancing with kids count as exercise?
Absolutely, it will, because it not only is a physical activity, but it also releases endorphins, happy hormones in your mind, which actually keeps your mind happy, and it's a great exercise for the soul as well. So I'm glad you brought it up, because I was going to say that, because usually in the rains, this is a common excuse. Oh, I'm too lazy to exercise. Who's going to go out? It's raining. But I promise you, the reason you're feeling lazy is because you're not going out. Sunlight is really, really important to release serotonin and, like I said, the happy hormones. So you need to go take a walk outside. If for whatever reason you cannot do it and you're very tempted to curl up in bed, just put on some music, call your kids if you have them, call your friends over. Just do a little jiggle, jiggle, jiggle like you and I usually do in this studio. Even that really helps. Just get your body a little active, because it really, really is important at the end of the day to exercise. Immunity depends on exercising well.
And sunlight is at a premium. It's not massively available during the monsoons. So when you find sunlight, just go and take a walk.
No, but Rishi, even if you don't find sunlight, go out and take a walk, because the UV rays are going to benefit you.
Important, UV rays.
Yes, and they will release those hormones that you need in your mind and your brain to be released. So please go out and walk.
Couple of more points. You say food and self-hygiene. I'd like you to explain that.
Yeah, so now in the rains, the biggest problems happen because of, dirt clogged up in fruits and vegetables, dirt in your hands. You go out, you get wet, your clothes have got mucky. You don't come back and shower well. You don't wash your hands properly before consuming food or before cooking food. It's a problem. It's a problem every time, but monsoons, the risk becomes higher. Fruits and vegetable, germs actually live on the skin of fruits and vegetables. So you literally have to scrub them more so during monsoon. So food hygiene is really, really, really important. I would in fact even go to the next level to say avoid leftover food. Do not eat that. If you must be very, very careful, heat it well and then consume it. Boil the water properly. That's again, boil your drinking water properly. That's again very, very important. And in fact, there's a little technique to boil water. Boil it rapidly for 5 to 8 minutes and then consume it from the vessel in which you boiled. So you're avoiding contamination. So keep it to the least. So that's another point that I would like to say. These things we all know, but somehow we're so busy in our day-to-day routine that we very easily forget.
And all of us are guilty of spending a lot of time in air conditioning. You could argue the monsoons means the weather itself is air conditioned.
Yes.
And we forget to drink water.
Yes, that was going to be my next point. It's so important to stay hydrated, and we don't feel thirsty like the way we usually do during summers. So it's important to remind yourself. Rishi, a technique that I use, I have not done it today, but I have a beautiful bottle, that I carry with me all the time. And very often I add a little lime juice to it, I throw in some cucumbers, a little sweet lime slice, and some mint leaves. And it just becomes refreshing, because sometimes it's just boring to have regular water, right? So this is giving you your little extra dose of vitamin C, and it's keeping you hydrated as well.
Time now for your favorite part of the show, which is the recipe of the day. Those of you who prefer your content visually, it's beautiful Amrita in her studio kitchen cooking for you. So go and check it out on Instagram at 94.3 Radio 1 India and at Amrita Raichand on Instagram. But if you're driving or you prefer good old-fashioned radio, pure audio, then we're going to do the recipe for you right here and now. And why do I have a sneaking suspicion that the recipe of the day has something to do with the monsoons?
Yes, absolutely, and naturally so. This is one of my most favorite recipes, especially for the monsoon, also for the time when I used to fall sick. My mum, I must tell you, Rishi, used to be a great cook. Unfortunately, she's not been keeping too well for many years, so I really miss her haath ka khana. But she was a fabulous cook, and I've learned most of my cooking from her. Also been genetically blessed. So this recipe of a chicken soup, it's a very, I mean, everybody makes chicken soup, right? Like you would say, what is there in a chicken soup? But trust me, if you make it this way, I promise you, you will never forget me, because it's my mother's special recipe and it has everything that you need to keep yourself warm, to build your immunity, to give you strength, definitely during monsoons, but any time of the year, if you're a little low, if you're a little down, if you need some energy, if you're sick, this is a perfect, comforting, and the perfect recipe that you can turn to. So this is chicken soup for the soul, made by my mom, and it's very easy. So everything gets made in a pressure cooker. You add some oil, you add some spices, which we were talking about, which are so good for us, some cloves, some peppercorns, ginger, garlic, excellent to, build your immunity. So you throw in that, throw in some chopped onions, you cook it out a little bit. Then you add chicken on the bone. Now, I like it this way. If you don't like it on the bone, right now cook it on the bone and later you can discard the bone. But in this recipe, bone is very important because that's where all the additional nutrition, all the juices, all the protein, everything and all the flavor comes from the bone. So you don't want to miss that out. So you add the chicken, you sear it a little, you give it a little bit of browning, and then you add some vegetables. And now this is the addition which is actually mine. My mom never used to do it, but I started doing it in COVID when I got COVID and I wanted to have something which was also filling and satiating. I started boiling some pasta and throwing it in the soup. And it becomes a complete meal, which is so delicious, so warm, and just try it, Rishi. I'm telling you, you'll love it.
I will take your word for it. Now, the printable recipe is available on Amrita's website. You want to give out the website?
Yes, it's www.amritaraichand.com.
RAICHAND.com. And of course, the video's out on Instagram. And last but not the least is the Ask Amrita section. While we're answering your question, you can still send in questions. We'll take it up next week. 9833 943943. 9833 and then our frequency 943943. Pop in the question on WhatsApp along with your name. I will read it out and Amrita will answer. Today, a question to Amrita from Amrita, your namesake. Hi Amrita, you've spoken a lot about easy, quick and healthy recipes. But is there a recipe that I can make in the night and can still be fresh in the morning? Like to take it for lunch, but not refrigerated food. Interesting, yeah?
Very interesting question.
Packing out the kids to school, early morning having to rush for work. I have some extra time at night. What can I do?
So ideally in the monsoon season, I would prefer not cooking something at night and then carrying it in the day. Like I was talking about, leftovers should be avoided as much as possible. And even if you must use leftovers, I would highly recommend you to refrigerate it. It's okay to take it out in the morning from the refrigerator, heat it a little, and carry it with you. It's perfectly fine. It does not really compromise on the nutritional value of the dish. But if you are hell-bent on not refrigerating something and making something at night, parathas, good old Indian parathas, theplas, these are the best things that you can carry. They're pretty wholesome as well. What I also like to do at times is salad. Salads are very easy to actually bring together at your place of work. I think I was giving you that suggestion just a little while ago. What you need to, however, do is create those components, the individual components separately, pack them in airtight containers. So your veggies of choice, your leaves, clean them, wash them, cut them, put them in a box. If you want to add your protein, your chicken or some grilled fish, make that separately. Even if that is a leftover, like if you've made some chicken dish, even if it's an Indian dish that you've made, you could just shred it out and just pack it in a box. A dressing. Create a dressing which is a very, very basic dressing. It's very easy to put together, and dressings last for months. So you can make a big bottle of dressing and just put it in the refrigerator. 3 parts of oil, 1 part of any sour agent, can be vinegar, can be, sweet lime juice, anything that you want. Some salt, pepper, some honey. You can throw in some mustard, or again, any condiment of your choice. Shake it well, put it in the refrigerator. Before using it, again, shake it. Remember the emulsification, because it's liquid and fat. So you need to emulsify it every time you use the dressing. So if you have these 3 components ready, all you need to do is pack them in your bag in the morning, go to work, just put it all together, and you've got a fabulous meal ready for you.
It's like the food version of those shakers that people carry to gym.
Yeah, and it's really easy to actually make this. People just don't think that it's possible.
Beyond the Plate comes to you every Monday, 8:15 to 9 on 94.3 Radio 1 on the radio. Just 48 hours later, we put it out on YouTube in its entirety. And there's a wonderful recipe video from Amrita Raichand's studio, a kitchen studio, and some fun reels and pictures that we do right here when we meet for the show. Thanks so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you next week.
I look forward to the same. See you soon.
94.3 Radio 1.